name is Bob, and I love my two-car garage. It's my goal right now to make a router table as cheap as possible. I'm going to try to find as much stuff as I can around my shop. Hopefully I'm going to make this thing for free. Well, I got pretty lucky. I found around my shop this nice piece of 3/4 inch plywood that I can use. Another piece there that might come in handy. I found some poplar that might make some a nice edge for the top. I also found this piece of plastic laminate, this Formica type material, and that's going to make my top nice and smooth. You don't have to have this, but it is kind of nice. And I found a couple things I can use for my drop-in plate. I found this 1/4 inch piece of plywood. I found a 1/4 inch piece of MDF. And I also found, well, I'm cheating on this, I actually went and bought a piece of plexiglass. All right, I'm going to cut my drop-in plate 8 1/4 by 11 3/4. Now the nice thing about working with plexiglass is that it pretty much works the same way as wood. You can cut it on the table saw, you can drill it. You need to be a little careful because if you're sometimes when you're milling it, it does crack, but if you, whatever woodworking tools you have in your shop will probably work with plexiglass. So just for fun, I'm going to make one drop-in plate out of plexiglass and one out of MDF. I need to precisely drill holes in my drop-in plate that match the hole pattern on the bottom of this base. Normally I would use the base plate that came off the router base, but because I bought this router in 1972 and the base plate is gone, I'm going to have to use the metal base as a pattern. Now I just had a brilliant idea. I need to figure out exactly where to drill that hole in the middle. So I put a tiny little bit in there and I attached my drop-in plate. I'm going to turn on my router and drop the base slowly and let that spinning router bit make a little mark right where it needs to be. Here we go. Hope I don't blow something up. Great idea. All right, now plastic is a little bit tricky, so you got to be careful when you're drilling this hole. I found a Forstner bit that's just about the right size. This 3/4 inch piece of plywood right here is going to be my top, so I drew a rectangle here. I got to cut that out somehow. I could drill holes in the corner and then connect it with my jigsaw, but I'm pretty confident in my skills, so I think I'm going to try dropping it down on the table saw. I think I'm going to laminate the top. So I'm going to take that piece of Formica that I have, I'm going to glue it up and put it on there. Stuff is not going to move once you lay it down, so you want to make sure you line it up correctly. Got it in place. Take my roller, roll it down, and a block of wood. And this little guy right here would be one of 36 reasons why I have a router. It's called a flush cutting bit. It's got a bearing on the top and it's got a cutter down below, and I'm going to use that bit to trim off the edge of this plastic laminate that I put on our top. Yet one more reason to have a router is this bit right here. It's called a Rabbet Bit. It's going to take a 3/8 of an inch notch. around the inside edge right here of my hole in my top, and it has a bearing on it. It's going to glide along the edge, and down below the cutter, it's going to cut the notch. I cut this hole a little bit smaller than my plate, knowing that I wanted to work this down and make it perfect. Now, I told you I was going to do this as cheap as possible, that I didn't say as fast as possible. So I keep on thinking of things to do, and I just can't help myself. So I got this little piece of laminate that I put on the plywood. That's extra, but if you got some, it works great. Then I put a piece of poplar on the edge just to make it nice, soften up the edge, protect the laminate. Now I'm going to take, once again, another use for my router. I'm going to take this rounding over bit. I'm going to go around the edge. All right, well, looky here, we got ourselves a drop-in router tabletop. Made both of these drop-in plates together, and that was kind of a good idea because it gave me, well, if I messed up on one, I had another one. Now, you're going to spend most of your time doing this. This is the hardest part. I'm going to now make some legs for the thing. I'm going to pretty much mimic what I did on this older one that I have because these worked out pretty well. I'm going to make these legs for this table out of plywood and that poplar that I found. All right, well, that went really fast. Cut up all my pieces out of plywood and poplar. That's going to be my foot. That's going to be the end. That's going to be a little lateral support, and that's going to be my subtop. All right, well, I'm going to get some glue on there, and then I'm going to actually screw this together with some 1.5" face frame screws. All right, well, looky there, we got 2 leg supports for our new router table. And that guy's going there. And that guy's going there. And I'm going to use some 1.25" face frame screws to attach it. All right, router table. All finished and ready for a workout. Now, how to use it is going to have to be part 3. But if you like this video, hit like. If you really like it, hit subscribe. If you just want to make me feel good, make a comment.